This is DJ coming at you from High Impact Motorsports. Today we are working on a MR2. It is the Spider Edition, the later 90s 2000 model. And yeah, we are going to be removing this whole assembly because that is the best way to take a motor out. In case anyone is wondering, the hood release is in the glove box. As for the front hood, I'm not talking about the deck lid. The deck lid is actually on the floor over there. That shows like trunk. But yeah, so for the front, it's in the glove box. It's this handle right here, guys. Took me a little bit to find it, so. Anyone else out there curious where it's at? Now you know. Come up front. This is what you're working with up front. Nothing crazy. Typical. As expected, your spare tire compartment. Yep. Helps with traction on the front, if anyone had to know. If you ever removed your spare tire and you felt like the front got super light, yeah, it makes a big difference having your spare tire up front. Okay, I am back. You have to remove the taillights to get the rear fascia off. There's bolts behind there. If you're wondering what the heck is right here, this is the muffler underneath all this heat shield. And batteries out, trays out, air systems out. We have the coolant jug right here. Some other cool stuff. Apparently this pipe fitting was not locked in there like it should be. So deal with that. But we got to get the engine out. So we got to just keep working our way. Throttle cable, 2 bolts on the backside, and then just spin the wheel and pull the cable. And he's just chilling right there. But keep going. I'll take more photos, more video. But yeah, MR2. This is Darren coming at you from High Impact Motorsports. Well, aka DJ. I'm getting ready to remove the subframe assembly. So what I had to do is take both CV axles out. As you can see, that one's out, that one's out. All this right here, like your tire rod end, not really sure what that's considered, a trailing arm maybe, and your lower ball joint type thing, even though it's not a ball joint, it's like a knuckle. So all that comes off. Also, the ABS sensor gets bolted there. You gotta also unhitch that bracket. What else? I kind of went so far on this before I went back to doing videos. The AC compressor can actually just be hanged out the way, just like on a Fiero. What else? The clutch slave cylinder is leaking due to the fact that I unhitched it. For one reason, they got it going through a bracket on the trans, like straight through a bracket. There's no, I wish there was a slot where you could just pull a C-clip and then push it off. There's not. You're actually gonna have to unbolt it. And I was gonna be like, hey, maybe I can just leave the bracket hanging out the way, but no, the intake would also be a problem when lowering this down. Also, we've got coolant hoses unhitched. I unhitched that one. The thermostat coolant hose is right up there. I took it off the body side because the clip was easier to get to. Trans cables, because it's a manual trans, those are off. The wire harness has been pulled through the firewall. That was actually pretty straightforward. And so if you don't know, the cargo cover inside behind the driver's seat, there's basically like a floor plate. You just remove 3 bolts. Take the carpet off, there's 2 hidden bolts, and then that plate just comes right out. Then you got the ECU and all that. I'll retake a video of that when I lower this car down, so that's where I'm at next. Let me do that. Okay, finished lowering the car down. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Over there is the plate, which would actually sit right here. And as you can see, these are where the hidden bolts would be. And then you got the 3 on the outside. Inside here, if you look over here, you got the firewall boot plug would be right there. So that guy, that's your main engine harness. So that's going to go through the firewall. And to unhitch it, it is the two connectors right here on the ECU. These two are for the body stuff. Those will stay. And then you got these three right there. Yep, so you got three right here, gray, white, and orange. And just unhitch those, pull it on through. Go into the engine bay. As you can see, got the bulkhead harness chilling. Got this coolant hoses unhitched. Gotta make sure you get that coolant hose right here. And I also unhitched this one from the jug to play it safe because he goes into this centerpiece and I didn't want to take a chance on breaking anything. Ground on the harness right here. Also, you gotta take apart the powered battery cable because you're gonna have two pieces. So this is the top piece, and then there's the, I'm trying to look for it, I'm sorry guys, this guy. All right, no, that, yeah, no, hold on, that was main ground. That ground would actually go right there. I'm gonna say it's part of the harness that I moved around and it's hard to find right now. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. All right, this guy. So he's part of the engine harness, and you got to remove him from the top of this. That's why you got to disable the positive battery cable. Also, inside this box, there's going to be a harness connector that goes to that bolt, or that nut. I mean, just take that nut off, and yeah. Then shift cables were straightforward. They're like any other one where you got the pin, the washer. The clips were kind of crazy. So on the clips, let's see if I can show you the clip, because man, it took me a bit to figure this one out. All right, I don't have light on the subject. All right, let me get a light so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. There we go. There, that's better. All right, so these clips, you got these small little tangs. You can see that small tang right there? Well, there's one on each side. So you got this one, you got that one, and then there's two more. So you got the one on the back side that mirrors the clip, and you gotta pull both of those out. So you gotta pull that out, then on the back side, push that side that way, and then it will just pop up. You don't remove the clips from the cables, they can stay. So if anyone's fighting with it like I did, that's how you do it. Just use a pick, hold that towards you. Same with that other small one right there. And then two on the back side. Just one right there, one right there. Just push them that way, pull up. But yeah, we've made such great progress. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull the sub assembly out. And we're basically to the point of getting this whole assembly out. So, same thing, I didn't disconnect the ground off the engine. It was a lot easier just pulling the body ground from here. This MR2 is actually not that bad to work on, if anyone thinks they are. You know what, I hate to say this, but I'll take this one over the early 90s one, just because it's flipped. So the exhaust on the early 90s would actually be over that way, and your intake would be over here, where this one, the exhaust is right here, the intake is over there. They are not the same engine. And most of the 90s ones were turbocharged, which that made it even more of a pain. But the power potential that the early 90s has over this one is very well, you know, that's got, of course it's gonna make more power, it's gonna be faster. Where this is like an awesome economy type car, good on gas. But yeah, get back to you. Okay, well, the rear sub assembly is dropped, as you can see. So what it would look like. There's a heat shield here. Just got 3 of these bolts. I left them in so I remember where they go. But letting you know. What else? Basically now, what I gotta do is support this motor, and the rest should just be mounts. Might wait till tomorrow and bring my engine dolly cart type thing I made. Probably be for the best. Just double check, make sure I do have everything unhooked. And if I do, awesome. If I don't, well, that sucks. Well, only Toyota would put a coolant cap there, right? Oh, you know what? There's one thing I forgot, and I'm going to take care of that right now. But in the meantime, MR2. So the reason why I'm back filming again is because guess what? That's your gas tank. Just that thing that goes right across. It's not in the tunnel anymore. You have all the coolant pipes going up there and AC lines. But yeah, that's your gas tank in the late model MR2. The early model, it would be in this tunnel. And yeah. Look at the size of that muffler, guys. That's like the size of the motor. Crazy. But yeah, we need the biggest muffler we can put in a little tiny car. Quiet. Looks to be just the two mounts on the side. That should do it. Okay, well, got the engine mount removed. I wanted to take this bracket off just to play it safe, but it looks like I might not have to. The only reason why I can't take that bracket off is because I don't know what goes on that. That is a socket I've never seen before, and I'll probably ask one of the tool guys on what it is, but the last bolt to get that bracket off is behind there, and the only way to do that is take that pulley off, and I don't know what that is, and I don't want to ruin it with vice grips. So the engine mount's off, the trans is disconnected. It is time to go up with the car and just make sure that everything is unhitched out the way and nothing's going to be held up. So far I think I'm pretty good. I decided to leave this coolant hose here due to the fact that I didn't want to risk taking that guy off that coupler, because if that breaks, that's not going to be fun. So yeah, and he would go to the side of the head. I believe I'm ready to go up. I got the transmission strapped to my little cart that I made. I made it to do Fieros, but it never worked out because my ceiling was too high, and now it has come. Apparently, I made it for our shop. So, yes. Let's go up and get this motor out. Yeah. So, I almost have it out. Just give you guys assurance. The cool thing about using this is I can actually move this around in here, roll it around. None of the casters are singled, so I made it to where it can basically just be pushed over, it can go forward, go sideways, go diagonal, and sure enough, everything is clear, everything is unhooked. That pipe is for your thermostat housing, so I removed the hose there because the clip was hard to get to on the motor side. Shift cables, I just got them tucked out the way, and everything's unhooked. I didn't miss anything. And first try with an MR2. I feel pretty confident about this. But I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna roll this out, and then we're gonna go back down with the car just for safety reasons. And yeah, so pretty cool, huh? MR2. We are on the last two set from the replacement motor set. We are going to see if these are even with the others. If they're even, I'll run them. If not, we're gonna have to go through and pick the best out of the best. So the last pair ran 44 cc within 50 seconds, and if these run 44 cc within 50 seconds, then we have a good pair of injectors for the MR2. Another thing is, I already did a leak down check on them. I didn't put that in the video, but none of them leak, and that's usually the first thing I do, because if you do have a leak, then that just, they're done. Like, don't even bother. So, here we go. We have a good set of injectors. So, guess what? MR2, your fuel injectors are awesome. Patrick was busy, so I basically had to go up with the car by myself and wheel it out. But here it is. And honestly, by the looks of it, that block-off plate right there, that's where the oil leak was mainly coming from. You can just see it coming all the way down. But the problem is the owner never knew it was low on oil because some rodent chewed off the wire going to the oil pressure sender. And yeah, so everything's pretty much got to get fixed. But I just connected the fuel line at the firewall. It's a lot easier, as you can see. There's the clip. It was aimed up. It was hard to get to, but I should be able to get to it now because the firewall was in my way. But yeah, got to go ahead and disable this. That's the replacement motor we're using. Just got to swap things over, get gaskets, go through the injectors, make sure just swap over all the good stuff. But yeah, first time with the MR2, man, and I feel pretty good about this. Okay. Well, we got the engine disassembled from the trans, and so far I've taken the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold off, and the fuel system, and it's almost time to start putting the replacement motor together, so it should be fun. So, getting ready to do spark plugs and valve cover gasket, and I gotta say, replacement motor is nice and clean. Man, this thing looks almost new in here. Chain doesn't look too bad. Yep, it's pretty dang good. This is DJ coming at you from High Impact Motorsports. I have finished doing the engine swap in the MR2 and taking it for its first test drive. It is an MR2 Spider, so there is a lot of differences versus the second gen that I have worked on. There is no trunk on this car. They eliminated the trunk, and the they put a storage space behind the seats. You got two little things that fold down right behind here. Got some openings right here, and it's just a little bit of luggage space. That's all you get. The more I think on this car, the more that I feel that it is the predecessor to the Porsche Boxer. You know, I think it was its competition, not really predecessor, but competition to the Porsche Boxster is what this car pretty much feels like. I do want to take it very careful because, well, these tires are really old. They're from year 2012, so just to keep that in mind, that they're old tires. Just gonna go take it out for a spin, make sure everything's good. Forgot that I gotta brake in the rear brakes because I swapped out the brakes yesterday. Alright. Okay, I am back. I feel like I got the rear brakes broken in. The radiator fan just turned on. I can hear it. Fluid levels and all that. So far doing pretty good. We're not overheating at all. Motor's running nicely. I did put a brand new clutch on this car because when you have everything out, it's kind of one of those important things that you should just replace. Yeah, but this car only has 100,000. It's only got 100,000 miles. Like not even 100,000 miles. So I should tell you something. Jeff, the guy who, the brother who owns this car, said that the car's been sitting a year. And honestly, I feel like the car's been sitting longer than a year, just because the amount of spiders and webs that I had to go through to get the motor out and all that other good stuff, you know. So there is that. The hardest part, I think, wasn't the whole engine swap. It was actually running the deck lid release cable through the car. I had to swap that out because the old one was frayed and wouldn't open the deck lid. The cool thing is the power windows are right there in the center, just like a Fiero. But like I said, just gonna roll up the windows, help with the air noise. Okay. Nice. Sorry about that. Now I can talk. This MR2, if anyone's in, not saying that the guy's going to be selling it or anything, but this MR2 is actually nice. It's a non-molested MR2. Nothing crazy. Everything is pretty much stock on this car. And I think it's one of the benefits. His old motor had rod knock, and we found some where a rodent chewed through the low oil pressure light switch wire. So there was that I had to fix. So hopefully this time you'll know if it's low on oil. It should work. But the man, what am I trying to say here? There was a block-off plate on the back of his old head, and it had oil seeping out. So the oil leak on his old engine was actually from that block-off plate. Don't know why. My guess is it's because the engine had different configurations, being in a front-wheel drive car. And yeah. Well, there you guys have it. This MR2 is saved. Guys should be very, very happy. You need to figure out why the ABS. So, this is another thing. We're almost back to the shop, and yeah. Hope you guys like the video. Stay tuned for whatever else we work on.